Welcome back to MidPoint. Also, welcome back former CIA analyst Lisa Ruth. Now that we've made everybody feel really good about everything, let's go ahead and dig in even more here a little bit. Libya is interesting now. The parliament has been declared unconstitutional. The country is in an absolute disaster right now. We still don't know who's running it. Wait a minute, we've been here before. This is almost an exact story of so many other Middle Eastern nations, but Libya is a scary mess and never gets talked about.
Really, in my opinion, Libya is a failed state. And this is something we've been foreshadowing for months and months and months. We've watched it before our eyes. Since the fall of Gaddafi, nobody's really been in charge. And then we have these little hints of optimism where we go, oh, there's a new prime minister. Things are going to be okay. Well, then he's out of office or he quits after he's been attacked. What we have right now is two governments trying to run this country, neither one of which is running the country. We also have militias, hundreds of militias. This is not even 3 militias. This is hundreds of militias out here. They control territory. They control the airport. They control the oil fields. You're dealing with a situation where no one is in control of more than a small area, and it gets worse by the day, literally. And as you said, people should be screaming on the front page of the paper. What is going on? And yet, nothing.
But I think there's no screaming going on, because what do we do? What's the answer at this point when we're sitting there with Libya disintegrating? What do we do?
Well, and this is, frankly, there's very little we can do. We've basically abdicated. In my opinion, we've abdicated authority throughout the Middle East in many, many ways. We've given up. We are not involved here. And you also have a situation with Libya where we're not really welcome. We have no leverage. Unless, once again, we're going to deploy troops and go in and take over the country. You have a situation where Islamists, keep in mind, the Islamists here are a very serious threat. We've talked before, what if ISIS goes into Libya? All of a sudden, you have nobody to counter them. It is a mess. It's getting messier. Remember, our diplomats left the country over the summer. It's just a stirring cauldron of mess.
Let's spin to the president and Iran. In the light of many military analysts, intelligence analysts, how much of a mistake was it that the president is apparently working back channels, sending letters to Iran and trying to cozy up or get them to work with us?
Here's another situation, really, where if you look at, since Jimmy Carter, the U.S. policy toward Iran has been, we're isolating this regime, we're pressuring them through a number of different channels, using Arabs, not using Arabs, but working with Arab countries in the region.
No, in essence, using them to further what we want.
Absolutely, but we had a very clearly defined, your actions are not acceptable. Keep in mind, again, this is a regime that hanged a woman 2 weeks ago because she killed someone who sexually attacked her, and then sentenced another woman for lobbying to go to a men's volleyball game. There's human rights abuses, but aside from this. So now what we have is a president willing to work diplomatically with a country that continues to cheat on its nuclear arsenal, that continues to lie to us, that is not allowing inspectors full access, but yet we are pushing and pushing and pushing for this accord. And I'm sure that he's looking over his shoulder because as of January, the Republicans will be in the Senate. And he's trying to get this accord signed before January, and it's a bad deal. And this is not a political thing. Every intelligence analyst I speak with tells me this is the worst thing we can do. These guys have the ability to make a bomb in about 2 weeks. We're not changing that. Nothing we're doing here is changing it. We are really, really doing a bad thing here by allowing them to continue along this path.
20 seconds. Who killed bin Laden?
Well, it depends on who's writing the book. I think the latest guy is in my generation, we took an oath of secrecy. I don't know what happened or why these guys decide they need to talk about it, but, does it matter? It's the question of what's going on here with our special forces.
15 minutes of fame. Somebody's making money. We really don't know who killed him. And now this guy's got he's got a target on his back for the rest of his life.
Well, and it really, it doesn't matter. And this is part of the thing. The U.S. government did it. SEAL Team 6 did it. Does it really matter who pulled the trigger? And apparently it does to them.
It shouldn't matter, but it does to people because we're all told that we all need to be famous somewhere.
Somewhere.
Famous what we talk about. Lisa, thanks a lot for coming in. We'll see you next week.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, Lisa Ruth is here. We're back after a short break with a current and a former president taking their turns on the Sunday runway right after this.